Hello, this is Mark Riley. I'm one of the founders of the InBuzz Group and wanted to walk through our sales and marketing plan template with you just to give you an idea on the process that we used to follow and maybe give you some ideas on some of the resources that we have and some of the things that you might want to think about while you're putting together your sales and marketing plan for next year. So, we're going to basically talk about things at a 10,000 foot level and then drill right down to your day-to-day activities. We'll start talking about the mission, vision, and background. We want to focus on how you should use this tool to readdress your team. We're going to look at different markets and how you address and move towards markets. We're looking at some of the tools that you might employ and offer some suggestions there as well. And then we talk about the positioning, where you are in the marketplace against competitors and with your own product, et cetera. Talk about your marketing strategy, and then going into sales, what's your prospecting strategy? And then let's finish this thing up with some action plans, some individual goals for the organization, and lastly, your ability to be able to do all this stuff by setting your budgets. So the mission and background, what we'll talk about is your mission, vision, and then also some of the things that you want to be able to tell people, the old elevator speech, the action statement on why people should consider your business to provide your services to them. So the mission statement, we've got a section here where you just fill in with a very short, what is the mission of your organization and what is the vision, short term, long term, what is the upcoming vision for your organization? And like I said, then a time to put in what your company story is. I think it's good to come back to the ground level on this, not only so you guys look at your own company's history a little bit, but it also helps reaffirm with your colleagues and coworkers on what the company's story is to help them understand and share that with your customers and prospective customers. When we talk about building up your team so people know how things flow together, we often found in our agency that a lot of times there was a disconnect between team members. So in here, list your sales department and their titles. Possibly want to put your information as far as photos and bios, short bios. This is a good time to put in your sales structure so people know who reports to who, what is the co-teamwork abilities to work together and accomplish your goals. Talking about new hires, if you're thinking about developing new talent, especially in the sales area, this is where you want to address this. And I've actually got some hyperlinks in this where you can do an income reality worksheet. It's a great tool that we have available to you. It's an Excel spreadsheet that will show when you should expect profitability from a salesperson. And the ROI calculator, it's a great tool to use for new hires and also for existing producers. It helps you validate what a realistic production goal is by using activity calculations and also time calculations. And if both those calculations comes out with a relatively close similar outcome, you know that you've got a good sales plan with your individuals. It's nice to sit down and work with them on those. Now let's talk about the target marketing section of this. Talk about your product or services and who it's aimed towards, who are your key prospect attributes, who should you try to walk away from as quickly as possible, and then what is your niche? Is it a geographical one or is it a product one? So the location and niche target is identifying the physical location of your target market. It could be one of those things that is by zip code. It could be by region. You could go coast to coast. Buyer personas. We have a buyer persona tool, and we think this is really a very good tool to develop and then also share with your coworkers. This is, trying to envision what the perfect prospect is that you could sit across the desk from in order to have the maximum results, be able to serve them and benefit your organization. On the flip side, it's nice to spend time also to say, who's not a person that we want to talk to? A lot of times we go down rabbit holes chasing personas that we really should be walking away from. And that's what I talk about here is who's somebody that just doesn't fit your target. So here's a good time to look at some of the tools, softwares, and resources that you're going to be using to be able to reach your goals. So, are you using a CRM? Are you able to monitor where you are in the pipeline? What is to be expected to be able to be booked with your organization? What are the closing ratios? Who's doing well? Who's struggling? What is some of the best sales processes you've got? CRM is almost becoming a must in any organization. So then talk about other things that you have available. What are you using for email? What are some tools and resources that you have available for your clients, or things to hook prospective clients, risk management tools? And then what's your agency management system? And in this day and age, have you looked at the possibility of tying these all together, which is something that we could help you with? Now, positioning is, think about where you are in the industry. If you're not at the top, help you maybe analyze who's above you and what you need to do to get there. So speak of the market conditions in the industry. Right now, as I'm taping this, our industry is heading into a hard market. And how is your industry performing in general? The other thing is with some of the economic times we're in right now, is your target in a deflated or a growing type of our economy while we deal with some of the pressures that we have right now? Value proposition. We talked about this a little bit earlier on your positioning statement, your company history, but this is a good time to sit down and agree with, when somebody says, why should I waste my time talking to you, to have a good, concise team message on what is valuable about considering your organization to provide your services to your clients and prospects. What are your competitive advantages? A lot of times your competitive advantages might not be better than the competitor that you're dealing with. But one of the things that I heard once before is one of my favorite bands is the Grateful Dead. And Jerry Garcia says, it's not just important to be the best guitar player, it's to have your audience imagine you're the only guitar player. And, trying to translate that there is the fact that you need to convey that even if you've got similar products and similar services as your competitor, you should be able to convince yourself and then the prospect on why you are the competitive advantage. So by doing that, you might want to go and consider doing a SWOT, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, but look at what your competitors have as far as strengths and what are weaknesses, and how can you offset or address these issues. So I've put in here a spreadsheet for you to be able to do a spread on competitive analysis. Some people don't have, have single competitors, but some have, many competitors. It just depends on what, you think that you need to do to address. So when you're faced with a competitor that you've struggled with, you have the stuff at hand to be able to talk about. So let's go and, finish up with the boots on the streets talk, and talking first about our marketing strategies. Talk about how you're going to address email marketing, and start considering things like dynamic email, things that are tailored towards the interest of your prospects, not just the old monthly newsletters that we've all grown to expect to use as a solution. It's becoming more sophisticated than that. Content is king. Where you're getting your contact, and are you being found when people are looking? About video marketing, right now I'm sharing a video marketing with you is becoming more and more important to have personalized messages to go to your clients. Event marketing for those that are still involved in that. And right now, again, we're in a very weird time. It's 2020 when I'm recording this. Event marketing is taking on an entirely new type of life of its own. And it's something that you might be considering doing more and more by use of technology. And then what are some customer marketing things that you're going to be using? Things like cross-selling, upselling, etc. And direct mail, there is some still, use some of the old, the old traditional marketing campaigns. They're not completely dead. I'm recording this during election time, and my mailbox is stuffed by people running for office. And it's also on my Facebook lead. So it's apparent that, there's still some merit to doing old traditional direct mail marketing. Social media marketing, talk about having this being a part of a consistent marketing tool that you've got, but also how it feeds together with your other marketing, like use social media to promote your content. Now let's talk about prospecting strategy. What criteria should a prospect meet before sales reach out to them? If you're using a CRM, are you grading, your prospects before you hand them off? Are you giving tire kickers to your salespeople? Or are you actually giving them qualified leads? It's time to sit down and talk about who should we talk to and who should we nurture and who should we say goodbye to. Now we'll compare about an inbound marketing strategy, things that are more trickle oriented and nurturing oriented to try to bring people, talk about your inbound strategies, but then talk about your outbound strategies. If you're new to this, you still have to knock on doors. You still have to pick up the phone until your inbound strategies start generating the types of activities that you're looking for. And then lastly, let's look at our action plan. This is where you go through, this is what we're going to do, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. What are your goals? So have you sat down and figured out as an agency overall, how much business do we have? What can we expect to lose through attrition? And what do we need to sell to make up that lost business and make room for growth? And just like I said before, we have that worksheet where you can have the income reality worksheets. I think that it's something that you should probably think about even agency-wide, making sure that you're not making plans that you can't realistically meet. How many deals do you intend to close by the end of each period? So what is, you should know by average on, how many meets it takes. If you talk to 10 people, how many do you actually propose? How many do you actually close? And then looking for policy or premium or commission targets. Many agencies operate on different types of specifics. Whichever works for you, draw it down to how much you need to produce granularly, almost down to the day. And other key sales metrics targets. If you have any other metrics you're attacking, like software, customer retention, what are the expectations of the overall organization? It's really important to have this stuff written down so you guys agree moving forward what the next period should look like, and then also communicate it with your colleagues and coworkers. And lastly, we talk about things like budgeting. Do you have the resources to do what you need to do? And right now, having gone through this myself, it's time to look at things that you could live without, so you spend the money in the correct places so you can spend money on making money. So anything basically here would be the catch-all for what we're talking about. And need help putting your sales plan in action? If we can help you, we've been there, we've done that. And we also have some automated marketing tools. We have a very strong digital tools that is plug and play. It's ready for you to help you guys pull all these things together and be more efficient in your use of time. So I just wanted to thank you and appreciate you downloading this tool, and good luck. And we're here for you. Reach out to us, book a time. Would love to share some of our background and history and see if we can help you have a successful next year. Thanks very much.